And today we are going to be looking at an opening commonly known as the 4-move checkmate. It's also known as the scholar's mate. And not only are we going to look at this specific trap, but we're also going to be looking at how to defend against it from Black's perspective. So I would definitely keep that in mind, especially if you're at that level, say under 1,000. You're going to occasionally have people try this type of trap against you, and not only is it the checkmate that you need to watch out for, but there might be some other inaccuracies that you could potentially play that would possibly lead you to get a worse position. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Also, I do apologize, I don't have my microphone with me, so if the audio is slightly off, then that would be the reason why. So, anyway, the moves for the Scholar's Mate, as it's commonly known, is e4, e5, and white plays the move queen to h5. Note that we are attacking the e5 pawn, so any move that does not protect the e5 pawn would be an inaccuracy. If we look at a few options that Black can play, Black can try moves like bishop d6, queen e7, queen f6, but they all lead to developmental disadvantages, even the move pawn to d6. We can look individually. d6 blocks the bishop, although it probably would be a pretty solid choice. Queen to e7 also blocks the bishop. Queen to f6 blocks the knight from moving. And the worst of them all probably is this move g6, which is a pretty common mistake among beginners. And after the move g6, we can play this move queen takes e5, forking the king and the rook. Black can play queen e7, but then we snag the rook. And then after queen takes e4, we can just play any move under the sun that gets us out of check. We're doing fine, and we're up a rook. Not to mention there are going to be problems like protecting the knight, and we're probably going to get at least another pawn out of it, and things like that. So after this move g6, we would just take e5. So the best move for Black is actually to develop their other knight to protect the pawn. So now we're unable to take the pawn because the knight protects it. And going back, this move queen h5 is almost always going to signify a potential scholar's mate attempt. Rarely does someone play queen h5 and then just continue on with a normal developing move. Normally they're going to try bishop c4, which aims at this f7 square. So if Black just plays a move like knight f6, then we play queen takes f7 and get checkmate. It's checkmate because if the king takes, then the bishop is protecting, and there are no other squares for the king to go to that would be safe. So after this move bishop to c4, again, you can try queen e7, queen f6. Knight h6 would defend checkmate, but after a move like d4, you're kind of in hot water because the bishop is attacking the knight, which is protecting mate. So after bishop to c4, the best way to defend is now to play g6. Note that a move earlier, g6 was a blunder because it hangs e5. Now we play g6 when it's protected by the knight. So we're unable to take the pawn because of the knight. So after the move g6, white's normally going to drop back queen f3. And note that even though we've kicked the queen away, they've renewed the threat of checkmate. So we have to watch out. The most natural move in this position is just to go knight f6. So you go knight f6, and then suddenly the queen's looking a little bit exposed on f3, and you can just play moves like bishop g7, castles, pawn to d6. And then eventually white's always going to have a worse position because of the placement of their queen. So it prevents like their knight from developing. It could be vulnerable to attacks like bishop g4. Like a typical main line here might go knight e2, bishop g7, and then knight b to c3, bishop to g4. And I actually believe, if I'm not mistaken, this follows a Hikaru Nakamura game from 2005, that which Hikaru lost, probably because his queen is misplaced on f3. But that was 2005, that was so long ago. One attempt that white might try after knight to f6, granted an extremely amateurish play, might be an idea like g4, so that bishop g7, they can go g5 and then try to kick the knight away. However, after this move pawn to g4, Black can just play a move like knight d4. You're harassing the queen, and because you've played this move g4, you have an extremely worse position. And yeah, that's the 4-move checkmate or scholar's mate. just to review, the 4-move checkmate is e4, e5, queen h5, knight c6. And then if they just ignore this threat, we get checkmate. But the way to defend is after you've played knight c6, protecting the pawn, now you play g6, then you play knight f6, and you just have a better position from here. So I believe that's it as far as the 4-move checkmate goes. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you guys for the next one. Take care.